All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go from Dover in the fog. Colin Johnston and Donovan Ross on the front row. Andy Patton and Mike Kramer on the second row. Mike is not Pops, different Kramer in the field. John Tobias and Jack Clevenger on the third row. Brandon Templeton and Gary Offit have the fourth row. Scott Rayome and Brandon Dittmer rounding out the field. As the drivers get ready to roll out, let's dial up the cockpit view here. This is riding on board with our leader, Colin Johnston. We'll ride along with him till he comes out of turn 2 and just see as all the drivers are on track now. I think the fog might be light enough that they can see the entire straightaway, but I could be wrong. Johnston trying to get some heat in those tires and keep them cleaned off. This track does develop a lot of debris down at the bottom, and with iRacing's new debris system, wow, you can just barely see turn 3. Now, I have been known to set up races that have heavy fog so people can't see anything. But those are usually fun races. This is going to be fun. That's definitely going to be an interesting one. And here we go. Pace car is in. Green flag is in the air. They're underway at Dover. Due to Dover being a 1 mile high bank track, these cars flying around, the heat off of them may uplift some of the fog as the race goes on. Colin Johnston out front, Donovan Ross in second, Andy Patton in third, Mike Kramer currently in fourth. Whoa, Kramer a little bit squirrely. Brandon Templeton on the move, as is Brandon Dittmer. Dittmer already up 4 spots, but gets loose out of 2. And Dittmer was coming toward the front, but that is a huge setback. We saw a lot of that Sunday night with BRR. Brandon Templeton just set the fastest lap. He is also on the move. Dittmer has gone to pit road. Oh! And we've got a wreck back behind. Caution is out for the first time. A little bit bumpy early on. Mike Kramer heavily damaged. Looks like John Tobias also damaged his right front, not turning. Scott Bayome also has some damage. Let's see if we can see what happened. There's Scott coming out of the turn, but the incident happens ahead. He tries to avoid it. There's Kramer coming through the turn. Oh, he smacks the wall, comes down. Tobias has nowhere to go. This track just does not have a lot of space. And a few more close calls early on. Mike Kramer is out of the race along with Brandon Dittmer. John Tobias rolling back out. Scott Bayome already out. Colin Johnston still has the lead. Brandon Templeton now up into 4th place. Brandon Dittmer was the fastest car early on, but he is out. Templeton already coming through the field here early. Lights go out on the pace car. Out of turn 2, everybody is stacked up, ready to go. That fog does add another element here. Air temperature is 67, track temperature is 77, so the cooler temps. This track is known for just eating tires, but the cooler temps are definitely going to help a bit. They're also going to have a little bit more grip a little while longer. And here we go. Pace car is in. Green flag is back in the air. Donovan Ross quickly makes a move on the high side. He has taken the lead. Everybody makes it clean. Out of turn 2, down into turn 3. Brandon Templeton closing the gap on Andy Patton. We had kind of a foggy and dusty night with SMR on Sunday night. And the one thing you can see is the flames out the exhaust. Donovan Ross starting to put a bit of a gap on Colin. Andy Patton just turning his lap, but he definitely has to watch that mirror. Brandon Templeton looks low. And Templeton comes out of turn 2, takes 3rd. Gary Offit back behind. John Tobias a lap down in 8th. Jack Clevenger currently in 6th. Scott Bayome back in the fight despite the earlier damage. He has been repaired up to 5th. That top 3 already starting to pull away, and Brandon Templeton has come from 7th to get right to the back bumper of 2nd place. Donovan Ross starting to open up a small gap, about half a second at the moment. Templeton right behind him in 3rd and closing. Templeton seems to be in a really good place, so we can ride along with him. See what it looks like in the car tonight. Out of turn 4, down the front straightaway. Back down into turn 1. Does appear the fog's starting to lift a little. Out of turn 2, back down the back stretch. And you can see just how bumpy the corner entry is here. And you could hear the engine revs. He came out of turn 4, indicating the rear tires are starting to slip already. Drivers have to be extremely careful on throttle here. Donovan Ross already opened up a 9/10 of a second lead. Continues to pull away from Colin Johnston. Brandon Templeton in third was running him down, but he is starting to lose a little bit of ground. Scott Bayonne back in fourth. Might be, Bayonne just took fourth, rather, from Andy Patton as he starts to move forward. Patton now back into fifth. Jack Clevenger in sixth. Gary Offit in seventh. John Tobias in eighth. And at the moment, Tobias, one of the fastest cars on track. The only driver faster is currently Donovan Ross. Tobias gets a caution and gets a wave around back to the lead lap. That is definitely not something the top two want to see tonight. Donovan's lead continuing to grow, now almost 1.5 seconds. And we definitely cannot use any elevated cameras tonight. Brandon Templeton currently in third. Scott Bayonne in fourth. It is about 5.25 seconds back. But it does look like he is starting to gain a bit of ground on Templeton. Not sure what the fuel window is. I'm sure we're going to find out here soon when they come to pit road. Last week at Kansas, though, they needed a couple of stops to make it to the end. So just an estimate, somewhere between lap 30 and 35, we'll see pit stops. Oh, the leader gets the wall, got big out of shape. Colin Johnston closes the gap very quickly. The Monster Mile will attack if you have the least little moment of lack of concentration. Let your mind wander for a split second and you see what happens. As here we go, Colin on the attack on the bottom for the lead, and Donovan smacks the wall. Colin Johnston takes the lead. Colin just keeping the car clean and consistent seems to be paying off. Wooly wants to see the blimp view. There you go, Wooly. Can just barely see the car. Although adding fog into these races does increase the level of challenge. And Colin definitely took the opportunity once he got the lead. He is gone. Brandon Templeton has given up third. He is in. Lap times here start to fall off very quickly. Scott Bayome also in. Colin Johnston's fastest lap at 23.52. Last time by 24.78. 1.25 seconds slower in 30 laps. Donovan Ross sitting in second. Andy Patton in third. I'm willing to bet Donovan took some damage when he smacked the wall. Doesn't show any on the body, but I'm betting there is some damage to that car. His pace is really off. And Brandon Templeton out there on fresh tires. We talk about it all the time. At tracks like this, when you're the one on fresh tires and everybody else has old ones, you definitely have a few laps of a lot of fun. And Scott Bayome is out of the race. Donovan Ross is on pit road. Brandon Templeton with those fresh tires has caught the leader, shoots underneath, he is reclaimed. Oh, the leader gets the wall. Brandon Templeton just set the fastest lap of the race as he came by the leader. Colin Johnston smacked the wall. Doesn't look like Colin took any significant damage. Andy Patton is now on his way in. The longer he stays out right now, Colin Johnston will be able to stretch his pit stops a little bit further. But man, you have to wonder, those tires going away, the losing the speed on track due to the older tires, what kind of impact is it going to have later in the race? Jack Clevenger now in second, who is not on fresh tires, is closing the gap back on the leader. Does look like Colin Johnston's car, after hitting the wall, has lost some speed. Clevenger is closing in. He's 7.25 seconds back, but he is closing quickly. Colin continuing to stay out. Does he have the fuel to make it to the halfway point? If he does, he can do the race on one stop where the rest of the field is doing two. Clevenger back behind in second. Gary Alford now in third. The top three, the only ones who have not been to pit road. And three drivers out early. It's definitely been a rough start here at Dover. You have to wonder, Brandon Templeton, who was very fast early in the race, how much ground can he make up on these fresh tires with the leaders staying out, stretching the fuel? Brandon currently scored in fifth, about 5.5 seconds behind John Tobias in fourth and closing rapidly. In fact, he's now Tobias is in. Gary Offit, he gives up third. He is in. Now it's a question of which strategy is going to play out in their favor here, and a caution could throw everybody's strategies out the window. Brandon Templeton now in fourth place, now to third. He is 32.2 seconds behind second place Jack Clevenger. And at the moment, he's a second a lap faster than the leader, if not more. Does look like Colin Johnson. No, Jack Clevenger is in. Is Colin committed to trying to make it to the halfway point? No, he is in. Colin Johnston on pit road. So it will end up being a two-stop race for everybody. And now the question is, was stretching the tires the good idea or the bad? Brandon Templeton has now moved into second and will likely claim the lead in just a few moments. And Brandon Templeton has just taken the lead at Dover. Colin Johnston on his way out to complete the cycle of pit stops. Potentially three different strategies playing out here. Brandon Templeton stopped on lap 27. He could be planning to try three stops here. That would give him the freshest tires throughout most of the race. But will those fresh tires and fast laps be enough to make up for 50 seconds on pit road three separate times? After pit stops, Brandon Templeton in the lead. Donovan Ross now in second. Colin Johnston in third. Clevenger now in fourth. Andy Patton in fifth. Gary Offit in sixth. John Tobias in seventh, a lap down. Templeton's lead right at 7 seconds at the moment, but Donovan Ross is closing in on him. However, third place Colin Johnston is just 1.25 seconds behind Ross, and he is gaining even quicker. Now just half a second out of second place. And Colin Johnston shoots underneath out of turn 4. Colin Johnston takes second place back and is now 5.5 seconds behind the leader and closing. Now the question is, which strategy will Templeton play out here? He's in a position to do 3 stops and have the freshest tires. He can definitely stretch the fuel and make it a 2-stop race. Definitely an interesting position he has himself in at the moment. Oh, and Colin Johnston, who was 5.5 seconds back a moment ago, he's now 1.5 seconds back. 1.25. 1 second behind. That is how quickly those fresh tires are closing the gap. And here we go for the lead. Colin goes to the high side. Now he drops to the bottom. Oh, and it looks like Templeton kissed the wall at a 4. Colin Johnston is back to the lead, and Donovan Ross is back on pit road. That is definitely not a scheduled stop for Donovan. And Brandon Templeton, it is a scheduled stop for him. He is on pit road. He is going to 3-stop the race and see if with the fresh tires he can make up the ground on track. This is one of those moments where I could do a bunch of fancy math, but I can just tell you straight up, I don't know what's about to happen. 3 different strategies. You got Colin Johnston stretching the fuel and the tires still going for a 2-stop race. You got a couple of guys like Andy Patton and Gary Alford who are stopping at the thirds. So around lap 33 and again around lap 66. And then you've got guys like Brandon Templeton and Donovan Ross who appear to be doing it every 25 laps or so. Templeton is back out on track. He's currently in 6th place. About 12 seconds behind 5th place, John Tobias. Tobias, despite losing a lot of ground early on, is starting to make a little bit of headway if he can make his strategy help him. Colin Johnston has now a 9-second lead over Jack Clevenger. Clevenger also on the same strategy as Colin. Andy Patton in 3rd. Gary Alford in 4th. They're stopping about every 1/3 of the race, making it a 2-stop race. And Brandon Templeton just set the fastest lap of the night. And then he beat his fast lap that time. He had done a 23.40 last time by 23.39. He is closing quickly on 5th place, John Tobias. Now just 7.5 seconds behind him. It's worth mentioning when we're talking about the different strategies playing out here that each trip to pit road, from pit road entry to pit road exit, is about 53 seconds. That does not include your slowdown time getting into pit road and coming back up to speed once you're back out on track. Combined, that is likely over a minute that you lose on pit road, so you really got to be fast and make up a lot of ground on track. Colin Johnston continuing to extend his lead. Brandon Templeton about to come by and get one of his laps back. Templeton a little bit out of shape coming out of 4. And there goes Templeton. He gets one of his laps back. And he is just about 2.5 seconds behind 5th place, John Tobias. Gary Offit another 24.5 seconds ahead. Gary is closing in on 3rd place. Andy Patton, he's only 2.5 seconds behind Andy and gaining quickly. Offit having a great run here tonight as well. His strategy is definitely working. He's currently in 4th and closing on the 3rd place car. Brandon Templeton now right behind 5th place, John Tobias. And with far fresher tires than Tobias, he should get by pretty quick. We are within the window. We should see a few drivers on pit road just any moment. Andy Patton is now in. Should see Gary Offit and John Tobias in any moment as well. And remember, we may very well see Brandon Templeton. As Templeton goes to 4th, we could very well see him on pit road in the next 10 laps as well. Templeton still at the moment the fastest car on track. Jack Clevenger, however, in 2nd, is closing in on the leader, Colin Johnston. He's about 6.9 seconds back and closing. Colin, however, continues to set the pace, and if he stays on track, we'll see him on pit road with about 15. Whoa! It looks like Colin may have been trying to get to pit road, missed it. He lost a ton of momentum. Clevenger now just 4.25 seconds back and gaining. And the leader is on pit road. Colin Johnston is in, and Jack Clevenger goes to the lead for the first time. Gary Offit now in third, Templeton in fourth. And obviously the leader shaking up his strategy just a bit. Does it help or hurt Clevenger though? Clevenger was gaining on Colin before he came in. Clevenger is likely still going to need a pit stop. Gary Offit is giving up second. He is on pit road. John Tobias also in. "25 laps to go." Jack Clough, whoa! Donovan Ross was a little out of shape coming out of turn 4. Looks like he's got it gathered up and is good to go now. Clevenger in the lead. Templeton currently in second, 43.5 seconds back. But this may come down to when does Clevenger come to pit road. And if the caution were to come out right now, Clevenger would have the field trapped a lap down. Brandon Templeton now in third, just over 1.5 seconds behind Colin. And here comes Templeton for his final stop. Clevenger stays out. And these strategies tonight are all over the place. And it does make it hard for the drivers to calculate what their opponents are doing. Hey, good evening, Johnny. And good evening, everybody. Welcome in. How's it going, Johnny? Doing good here, buddy. Thank you for the raid. And the leader is on pit road. His final stop. And will Colin get back to the lead here? Johnny, it's going really, really good, and I have no idea. There's several different weird strategies playing out. I don't think I could predict a winner now if I wanted to, as Clevenger is on his way out. Colin has just gone by to reclaim the lead. Here comes Clevenger. Dawson Ross still in third. Andy Patton in fourth. Gary Offit in fifth. It looks like Clevenger took right sides only on pit road to try and save time. We'll see if the strategy works. Brandon Templeton back in 6th. Just set the fastest lap again. But he is sitting in 6th, and it does appear that his 3-stop strategy is not going to work. Johnny, how was your stream, buddy? Donovan Ross is in. This is an unexpected stop for him. Brandon Templeton back in 6th continues to set hot laps. He may very well pick up 5th, and he is closing on 4th place Gary Offit. Colin Johnston out front by 6.6 seconds, but Clevenger is gaining ground. Hey, thank you for the raid, Johnny. Get some rest, buddy. Clevenger continues to close in. Donovan Ross has had a caution is out. Everything has just been thrown up in the air. And we are going to have a 10-lap or less shootout. We saw Donovan parked on the inside of the track. Let's see what happened. Donovan coming back off of pit road. He gets on the power a little too much. Ouch. Goes to the inside. We normally go to the blimp cam, but the fog kind of looks like he may have gotten the wall in the process of coming out. See if this is a slightly better angle. Here he comes. I'll just start sliding as he comes up and gets on the power. Smacks that inside wall. Colin Johnston is on pit road. Clevenger is in. Gary Offit appears to be staying out. Andy Patton is in. Looks like Brandon Templeton stayed out, as did Tobias. So we'll have several cars waved back to the lead lap. Colin Johnston and Jack Clevenger on fresh tires. Gary Offit had just pitted on lap 74. Been trying to figure out who would have the fuel and tire strategy to pull it off, but now it's going to come down to who's the fastest. And it's likely to get a bit bumpy at Dover. The lights are out. Colin Johnston and Jack Clevenger up front. Gary Offit in 3rd. Andy Patton in 4th. Brandon Templeton in 5th. John Tobias in 6th. Donovan Ross in 7th. Only the top 3 are on the lead lap. Patton, Templeton, and Tobias all 1 lap down, so they will be battling each other for points. And here we go, pace car is in. Green flag is back in the air, 9 to go. Colin Johnston gets the run off the line into turn 1 to hold on to the lead, but Clevenger's already looking low. Clevenger has the nose in as they go into turn 3. Keeps it down the bottom, keeps his foot in it, and Jack Clevenger takes the lead for the first time. Gary Offit holds on to 3rd for the moment. Andy Patton still has 4th. Templeton in 5th. Tobias in 6th. 7 laps to go. Clevenger just set the fastest lap of the race. And Colin Johnston just set his fastest lap of the night. They are pushing him to the limit. There's no saving fuel or tires now. It is full send all the way around. 6 to go. Clevenger set the fastest lap again by a large margin. 23.10. His previous fast lap, 23.32. And he has started to pull away from Colin Johnston. The one thing nobody has been able to do all night, Colin had dominated up until the final caution. Four laps to go for Clevenger. He's got a 3/4 of a second gap. Kind of makes you wonder if Jack was sandbagging all night long. Three laps to go at Dover. Folks, a lot more racing to come this week. Tomorrow night, 9 Eastern, C12's Retro Trucks. Thursday night, 7:30 Eastern, Home Motorsports. And trucking and a whole lot of other stuff coming as well. And here we go, 2 to go for Jack Clevenger. He started back in 6th, worked his way up to the front, but hung out in 2nd most of the night. But a late race caution gave him fresh tires and an opportunity, and he has taken advantage of it. White flag flies one more time around for Clevenger. You have to wonder how it would have gone if that caution hadn't flown, but it doesn't matter now. Out of turn 4, Jack Clevenger gets the win at Dover. Colin Johnston coming home in 2nd. Gary Offit holds on for 3rd. Andy Patton finishing 4th. Brandon Templeton's multi-stop strategy puts him in 5th. Holy crap, what a finish! We'll talk to our top 3, but folks, don't forget, tomorrow afternoon we'll likely be streaming. Thursday we'll be hopefully doing some more Assassin's Creed Shadows, maybe as well on Friday. And a whole lot more to come. Plus, if you're near Enid, Oklahoma this weekend, stop by the Monster Truck event. Come say hi. I'll be the one announcing. Just waiting for a word with our top three. And that was one heck of a late race battle. Well, we got our winner. Let's talk to him. Jack, congratulations, man. That was a heck of a win. And I have to ask the obvious question, did you have anything for Colin if the late race caution doesn't come out? You definitely did. We were seeing fast laps throughout the night of 23.3 and then 1, 2, 3, 4 through 10. I mean, it was consistently in that 23.3 range until you set the fast lap of 23.10. That was a heck of a lap.
I was gonna try and get away and hide if I could, and it seemed to work out.
It definitely did, man. That was a heck of a win. Congratulations. Anybody you'd like to thank?
Just thank Devo and Andy for hanging out with us tonight, and you guys for the broadcast, and Coast to Coast for the place to race, and Colin, and congratulations to Colin and Gary. I know Colin was hoping to be up here, but we can't win them all, but he did a hell of a job. I mean, he kind of paced the whole field tonight. I just got lucky there. So thanks, guys.
Great job, man. And Colin comes home in second. Colin, how bad did you not want to see that caution?
Oh, that's the last thing I wanted to see, because I knew we were all kind of saving and no one really played their cards with the short run all night. So, I didn't know where I was going to be at the short run, but I knew I had the long run speed. So, yeah, I didn't want to see that yellow at all.
Yeah, you definitely had the long run speed. It seemed like on those long runs, you just kept walking away, and regardless of the strategies that were playing out, which there were several, regardless of the strategies, you just kept walking away and getting further and further away throughout the race. But that late race caution, man, that was quite a setback.
Yeah, and I was on 4 fresh tires. I just couldn't have that match the speed that Jack had there on the last 10 laps or so. We were running, below qualifying run speeds, so the last 10 laps. So.
Well, man, you definitely made him work for it tonight. Still a great finish coming home in second. Anybody you'd like to thank?
I want to thank you for doing the broadcast. I want to thank my wife for putting up with this, a couple of nights a week at least. Team Watson Racing Setups for everything they do, and I've been a part of their program there for years now. And then I want to thank Coast to Coast Racing for everything they do.
Oh, great job, man. Congratulations. Gary, you came home in third, and I have to ask, were you originally going for a 3-stop race?
Yes. I was I just kind of was back behind Jack and just hanging out and just trying to let him set pace and then see where we went. I mean, I felt like I was good for 40, 35 to 40, and then we had another 35, 40, and I thought I'll just come in with about 30 to go and see what'll happen.
Well,
it was the wildest race.
It definitely was. There were so many different strategies playing out. I couldn't predict when anybody would come in like I normally can. It was definitely a wild, eventful thing, and it seemed like everybody was changing strategy throughout the race. But, man, you made it work. You still came home on the podium, and it was quite a battle you had out there a couple of times to get up to third.
Yeah, I felt like I had a rhythm there, on the later part of the runs that kind of helped me, and I just went with it. Devo was coaching me all afternoon, trying to get me to where I can stay out of the back on the. But it all worked out great.
Well, man, it was definitely a heck of a finish. Anybody you'd like to thank?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Devo, Jack, and Andy for coming in tonight. It was always fun. Also, Keith and Greg are missing in action. Greg's real sick, so thoughts and prayers to him. And then you for putting on the broadcast and Coast to Coast for all they do as well.
Well, man, congratulations. Heck of a run tonight.
All right, thank you. You guys all have a good night.
Wow, what a finish to an awesome race. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hope you had as much fun as we did. Hopefully we'll be streaming tomorrow afternoon, and hopefully we see you tomorrow night at 9 Eastern. The Retro Truck Series goes to Bristol, baby. We'll see you then. Have a good one, everybody.
What's up, dude?